All right, everyone, welcome to your ultimate masterclass revision for Unit 7, Caring Communities. Look, if you've been feeling a little overwhelmed lately by all the new vocabulary, the long reading passages, or those notoriously tricky grammar rules, I want you to just take a deep breath. You are in exactly the right place. By the end of this session, we're going to break down every single thing you need to know. You're going to walk away completely equipped, incredibly confident, and ready to tackle any question the exam throws your way. Let's get right into it. So here is our blueprint for today's explainer. We're going to start off with a quick bird's eye view of Unit 7. Then we'll extract the core themes from your reading and listening texts. After that, we dive into the deep end. Section 3 is all about mastering those 4 if clauses. Then I'll give you a foolproof formula for your writing assignment. And finally, we'll wrap things up with an interactive exam focus quiz to test your skills. Okay, Section 1, Unit 7 Overview, your roadmap to caring communities. Now, understanding this core theme of what a community actually is, well, that's the absolute foundation for this entire unit. So what do we mean when we say caring community? Simply put, it's a place where everyone belongs, a place where people feel safe, respected, and truly valued. Throughout this unit, your textbook brilliantly uses the school playground as the ultimate real-world example of this. Think about it. An inclusive playground isn't just a place to run around, it's a dynamic training ground for life. When students are out there taking turns, sharing sports equipment, and specifically going out of their way to invite shy classmates to join a game, they aren't just playing. They are actively building absolutely critical life skills like empathy, cooperation, and responsibility. I really want you to keep this specific concept in the back of your mind because this idea of active inclusion is going to echo through every single part of your exam. Moving right along to Section 2. Reading and listening themes, inclusion, gratitude, and conflict resolution. Let's pull out the absolute must-know details and vocabulary from your texts so you don't have to memorize pages and pages of notes. The vocabulary in this unit is highly interconnected, so let's connect the dots. First up, inclusive. This means creating a friendly, welcoming environment where literally all people are included, no matter what. And why is that important? Because of diversity. Any group of people is going to have different abilities and different backgrounds. That's a given. So, to handle diversity, a community has to actively practice fairness. That means leveling the playing field and giving each and every student an equal chance to participate. Now, we are all human, which means disagreements will inevitably happen. When they do, healthy communities rely on mediators. These are respected, neutral people who step in to help two opposing sides solve a problem. The ultimate goal of all of this, making sure everyone feels valued, meaning they're given importance and respect, and that everyone practices cooperation, which is simply the act of working together peacefully. You definitely need to lock these definitions in for your multiple choice section. And we actually get to see these words in action through the listening tracks in your book, specifically the ones about the inclusive play hour and the circle challenge. You probably remember the story of a brand new student named Maya. Maya was standing on the sidelines, feeling unsure, totally shy, and pretty isolated. But then a student named Hannah stepped in and specifically invited Maya to join the game. That moment right there, that is a textbook perfect example of community fairness and inclusion. By passing the ball and sharing the space, Hannah instantly made Maya feel valued. Small, intentional acts like this are exactly what create an environment where absolutely nobody feels left out. But it goes way beyond just the playground. Your reading passages cover 2 other major community builders, practicing gratitude and resolving conflicts. You read about the gratitude challenge, which proved that tiny, small acts of thankfulness, like taking 5 minutes to write a thank you note to the school staff, cost absolutely nothing but create incredibly happy environments. But what happens when things go wrong? In the reading passage about a neighborhood in Cairo, we learned that conflict is natural. The solution is using those mediators we talked about earlier, like local elders or experienced teachers. But it's not just about having a mediator, it's about the rules they enforce. They demand simple, clear communication skills from both sides. You have to listen without interrupting, and you must express your feelings politely. When you combine practicing gratitude with using respectful mediators, you get a community where disagreements are handled kindly and everyone knows they still belong. All right, take a breath and shake it out because we are moving into Section 3, Grammar, Mastering the 4 Conditionals. Focus closely here, grab a pen if you need to, as this is, without a doubt, the biggest technical topic of Unit 7. Let's start with the first 2 types, which are rooted in reality. First, we have the zero conditional. We use this for 100% factual statements, scientific facts, or general truths. The form is super simple. If plus the present simple tense, and then the main clause is also present simple. Look at the example. If you put a piece of iron in water, it sinks. It is a fact. It happens every single time. Now contrast that with the first conditional. We use this when we are talking about real, highly possible situations in the future. The form shifts just a bit, if plus the present simple tense, but the main clause becomes will plus the base verb. For example, if you notice someone's kindness, you will make them happy. It hasn't happened yet, so it's not a timeless fact, but it's a very real possibility for the future. Okay, now we are stepping out of reality and into the realm of imagination and the past. The second conditional is used for unreal or totally imaginary situations right now or in the future. To show that we are imagining things, the form takes a step back in time. If plus the past simple tense, and the main clause is would plus the base verb. Look at the example here. If everyone practiced gratitude, the school would be happier. The reality is, not everyone practices it right now. We are just imagining a hypothetical world. Finally, we have the third conditional. This is the one that always tries to trick you on exams. This is used purely for past regrets or impossible situations. Why impossible? Because the past has already happened, and we literally cannot change it. The form takes another step back. If plus the past perfect tense, followed by would have plus the past participle. Let's read the example. If I had thanked my friends earlier, they would have felt appreciated sooner. But the reality is, I didn't thank them earlier. It's a past regret. Now, I want to pause here because the subtle but absolutely critical difference between the second and third conditionals is exactly where students often lose points. You have to remember, the second conditional imagines a totally different reality happening today. If the school was inclusive, everyone would feel valued. But the third conditional looks way back at a finished, closed event in the past and imagines a different outcome. If they had shared the ball, they wouldn't have argued. When you are sitting in that exam room, always look at the tense of the sentence to know which conditional you are dealing with. Section 4. Writing the problem solution paragraph. Now, I know staring at a blank page and seeing a 150 to 180 word requirement can be intimidating, but don't let it stress you. Writing the perfect paragraph is just about following a highly logical 3-step formula. So here is the exact 3-step formula your textbook wants to see. Step 1. Introduce the problem clearly. You need to answer who is affected and what exactly is happening. For example, your book talks about the very real problem of social isolation among elderly people who live alone. State that clearly right up front. Step 2. Explain one main solution. A huge mistake students make is listing 5 or 6 weak one-sentence ideas. Don't do that. Pick one great idea and explain it in detail, like organizing intergenerational volunteer programs where high schoolers visit the elderly weekly. Give details. Step 3. Show the result. Wrap your paragraph up by explaining the outcome. How does the solution actually improve the community? End on a positive, realistic note. Now, to guarantee you get top marks on that 150 to 180 word essay, you must glue your ideas together seamlessly. The examiner is actively looking for this. I highly encourage you to memorize these exact expressions on screen. Start your paragraph confidently with one major problem is, when you transition to your fix, clearly write one effective solution is, and throughout your writing, strategically use linking words like therefore, in order to, and as a result to connect your sentences. Using these specific phrases is like a cheat code. It signals to the person grading your paper that you have total control over the structure of your argument. All right, Section 5, the exam focus quiz. We've done the heavy lifting. Now it's time to put your knowledge to the test. I'm going to show you a question. I want you to read it, think about it, and lock in your answer before I reveal it. Feel free to pause this explainer if you need a little more time. Let's go. Here we go. 2 vocabulary questions straight from the assessment style of the unit. Notice carefully that you need to pick 2 correct answers for each. Question 1. An inclusive society accepts diversity. Which 2 words can replace inclusive? Is it A, selfish, B, included, C, unfair, D, welcoming, or E, shy? Question 2. They quarreled over the referee's call. Which 2 words can replace quarreled over? Is it A, argue over, B, dispute, C, agree on, D, reconcile, or E, cooperate? Take a mental pause right now and lock in your choices. All right, let's see how you did. For question 1, an inclusive society is one that is included and welcoming, so options B and D are your winners. For question 2, to quarrel simply means to fight or disagree verbally, so the perfect synonyms are argue over and dispute, options A and B. Great job if you nailed those. Next up, a classic grammar multiple choice question. Let's read it together. If the team leader had welcomed the members warmly, the team blank valued and included. Your options to fill in the blank are A, felt, B, have felt, C, would feel, D, would have felt. Remember my biggest tip from earlier? Always check the tense of the first half of the sentence to find your clue. Make your choice now. And the correct answer is D, would have felt. Let's break down why. Look at the clue in the first clause, had welcomed. Had plus a past participle is the past perfect tense. Because of that specific tense, we instantly know this is a third conditional sentence dealing with an impossible past event. And the rule for the third conditional mandates the use of would have plus the past participle. Finally, let's tackle a rewrite challenge. These can be tough. This is where you have to swap words around without changing the original meaning of the sentence. Your task is to rewrite the following sentence using the word if. Water won't boil unless it is heated. Pay very close attention to the negative implications of the word unless. How would you logically reconstruct this sentence? Think about it. If water is not heated, it won't boil. The golden rule you need to memorize here is that the word unless basically translates to if not. So when you remove unless from a sentence and put if in its place, you have to make the verb in that specific clause negative to keep the logic identical. Fantastic work if you followed along and successfully mastered that logic flip. And just like that, we have covered the absolute core of everything you need to know for this exam. We explored how playgrounds and neighborhoods actively build inclusion and fairness. We thoroughly mastered the 4 different levels of if clauses, from scientific facts to past regrets, and we unlocked that foolproof 3-step formula for writing the perfect problem solution paragraph. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final thought. If a caring, inclusive community only truly thrives when every single person takes responsibility for their actions and steps up to the plate, how are you going to take responsibility for your success on this upcoming exam? Put in the time, keep reviewing these concepts, use those linking words, and trust your preparation. I know you are going to do incredibly well. Stay confident, keep studying, and I will see you in our next explainer session.